Hello, dear viewer. The internet fell over just as I was due this afternoon, Phil. The internet, I hope you can hear me. The internet fell over just 10 seconds before we were due to start. So a little bit late at 9 o'clock in the morning in Brasilia, 5 o'clock in the Maldives, and 1 o'clock in the morning in Tonga. Let's have a look then. So former Schindler Electric executive and BlackBerry Silence president Daniel Domio joins White Fox. Always people joining boards of county UIS folks, isn't there? That seems quite the thing. This Sparrowhawk, quite an horrible weapon actually, came out of its black status last week. Falls off the Predator, and it is it's a pretty horrible way of getting rid of somebody, that thing. So that's that one. And Benzian talking with IAI about helicopters, quite large conventional helicopters. I really am surprised in the delivery sphere that there's not more of them for bigger payloads. I think this one is going up to 80 kilos or something. And if you're going to fly something with an 80 kilo load, then you need people doing something sensible with it, and that's the sort of people that can do that, people that can fly helicopters. Inspections, blah blah. Zerovia, now hydrogen electric passenger. How's you doing, mate? A hydrogen electric passenger plane that happened in Bedfordshire last week, and that's interesting. Hydrogen keeps coming up, and I see now NH3 is beginning to come up as a bit of a fuel, a modern fuel, pretty corrosive. So I'd be surprised if they started using that. There are NH3 manned balloons that you can only use once, and when you pull the valve on them, everything downwind of it dies. So you've got to be very careful of all the plant life dies. So you've got to be careful where you land it. Empirical Air Systems Aerospace, they've got a job going. It'd be very interesting if you're suitably qualified. And lastly, the report of yet another, or the final flight report of an in-flight breakup for a Zephyr, which was on its way climbing to altitude and got upset in lower level air. Had one upset which it righted itself one, and the second one it departed flight. I wish I'd kept the thing up, because it's the Australian report says, and then they learnt the structural limitations of the thing, or something to that effect. Very typical Australian report and such things. So the Zephyr's testing in Australia, and we know it's testing in other parts of the world and doing all sorts of secret squirrel things for people. I can thank someone this time. I can thank the Yanga people. There they are. They're sponsoring a few of these little video pieces, as well as putting an advert up on the site. So that's why we don't need to do Patreon and things like that, because we have very generous advertisers that come along and sponsor different parts of the website. So, but it really does help. That said, it really does help. If there's any stories you like, please share them in your socials. That helps a great deal, an enormous amount. Wear a mask, be safe, look after yourselves. Thanks very much to Yanga. And we'll see you again tomorrow for the news insert, and then tomorrow evening at 2100 GMT for our chat of nonsense, which will no doubt have lots of mention of this Australian tax to be levelled for RPA and model aircraft. I don't think I got that in time for last week's one. But we'll definitely talk about that, and I no doubt we'll be talking about the young gentlemen who are being investigated for flying with Bruce. But I suppose that in itself is reason for investigating somebody. Some perfectly illegal model aircraft flights, and they're subject to an investigation now at the age of 14, which is quite frankly ridiculous, because they're the future of aviation, or they're the future of technology subjects. Anything they choose to turn their hand to, if they've had the smarts and the drive and the push to get to where they are with their remote aircraft already, then they'll succeed in whatever they put their hand to. So really heavy-handed of an aviation authority to threaten an investigation of two 14-year-old boys. Absolutely scandalous, New Zealand. You should be ashamed. And on that political note, I bid you farewell. See you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.